North Korea has set itself in more isolation than ever this year, launching the most number of provocations. Now, experts have repeatedly pointed to China as key to resolving North Korea's nuclear ambitions, and that view is still echoed in Washington. Do we expect another provocation from Pyongyang in the near future, perhaps immediately following leadership changes in Seoul and Washington? Our news feature tonight, this piece by Connie Kim.
The recently adopted UN Security Council resolution on North Korea aimed to give less wiggle room for the reclusive regime and make the North pay the price for defying the international community's condemnation and going ahead with its fifth nuclear test in September. But whether Resolution 2321 will really have a pinching effect seems to depend solely on how China, North Korea's largest trading partner, will actively implement the sanctions, says Robert Einhorn, a former U.S. State Department's special advisor for Nonproliferation and Arms Control. He recently met with North Korean officials in Geneva for informal talks known as Track 2.
I think it's important for China to put more pressure on North Korea. I think an important step forward was the recent Security Council Resolution 2321. That resolution, which was worked out largely by the United States and China, called for caps on the amount of coal that North Korea could export to China. All in all, it provides for something like 25% reduction in the revenues that North Korea can realize from its exports. So that was an important step, and that required China to be on board. But I still think China can do more still.
The key in the resolution is slashing North Korea's exports of coal by about 60%, with an annual sales cap of $400 million or 7.5 million metric tons, aiming to pressure the North to give up its nuclear weapons program. But most North Korea watchers believe Pyongyang will not let go of its nukes, given that it's the only negotiating tool with Washington.
I don't think that North Korea yet has the ability with any confidence to deliver a nuclear weapon against the American homeland. Clearly they are working on it. I believe as a matter of policy they are committed to achieving that goal. But I think it could take them a few more years before they have that capability.
So, considering that scrapping off Pyongyang's nuclear weapons threat will not be possible anytime soon, experts believe another provocation will come from the North, which leads to the question, when? And most say an important triggering point could be South Korea's presidential election.
If you think about it, North Korea fired lots of ballistic missiles, did its nuclear tests, but then after September, October, he stopped. Why? Well, because of the havoc in South Korea politically. I mean, why does North Korea want to look like a threat when the conservative president is being impeached and it looks like a progressive will be the next president? So I think until the presidential election occurs, which probably isn't any earlier than March or April, Kim Jong-un's going to be very well behaved.
Another point to consider is the incoming Trump administration, as the unpredictable North Korean leader Kim Jong-un may want to seek big deals with a former U.S. business tycoon.
I think the North is waiting to see what the Trump administration will do. Hopefully they will be patient. Hopefully they will refrain from any provocations, such as a nuclear test or a long-range missile test, because if they engaged in such provocations, I think that would seriously affect the policies of the Trump administration and not in a direction the North Koreans would prefer.
Inter-Korean relations have come to a complete halt, and North Korea has become even more isolated this year. But the regime's unnerving silence as of now can be seen as the unpredictable leader most likely pondering on possible scenarios that focus on the new leaderships next year, meaning that Kim Jong-un's next moves will surely set the tone of how Seoul and Washington will deal with the reclusive regime. Connie Kim, Arirang News.